Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classics Non Classics. This is episode number 2173, Doubleshot number 2067. I got a Marvel trade and a DC trade. First up we have is the Immortal Hulk Volume 11 Apocrypha. Yes, Volume 10 is the conclusion of this run, but this feels like a bonus book. Yes, of a bunch of one-shots that came out during his run that were not collected in the main series. These one-shots are Immortal Hulk, The Best Defense, Defenders, The Best Defense, Absolute Carnage, Incredible Hulk, King in Black, Incredible Hulk, Immortal She-Hulk number 1, Incredible Hulk number 0, and Material from Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters. Mostly put a lot of stuff in here by Bill Manslow. I have kind of discussed Absolute Carnage and King of Black Mortal Hulks, and Hulk Best Defense. They're just really good books. And if you look at, I'm looking at basically the credits, all these. The writer for every single book in here, except for, pretty much all of them done by Al Ewing, but all different artists. Hulk Best Defense is done by, artwork done by Simone D'Amino. Joe Bennett does Defenders Best Defense. Absolute Carnage Mortal Hulk is Felipe Andre. Immortal number 0. That is done by Matty Julis. Immortal She-Hulk, John Davis Hunt, King in Black, Mortal Hulk, Aaron Cooter, Time Monsters, Al Ewing does it with Alex Pendo, who does the script, and Juan Ferrer does the artist. We have reprints in the backup story for the Defenders one. For Mortal Hulk, we have reprints in Hulk 1 to 3 by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Paul Roma, Dick Ayers. They also do it for Immortal Hulk number 0, with a reprint issue by Bill Manslow, by Pierre David. I have discussed, like I mentioned, I've already discussed most of his one-shots already, but mainly the reason why I got this to discuss Immortal Hulk number 0, Immortal She-Hulk, and probably Immortal Hulk Time Monsters. Now, Absolute Carnage Mortal Hulk and King of Black Mortal Hulk, I've discussed these in their own trades. Same thing with Best Defense. Immortal Hulk number 0, which is not the first issue in here. Mostly put for these other one-shots. Best Defense, this kind of I thought was going to be related to another Defenders book, but it didn't. We did get one later, but it had, Hulk was not technically on that roster. Al Ewing did write it, of course, which was really good. Absolute Carnage, and King of Black, it's mostly what the Hulk was up to during these events. That's mostly put what these things did. They did have a backup story, the Bill Manslow one, which is from Immortal Hulk number 0. Now, Immortal Hulk 0, yes, that was published during the run, but it didn't really. It's basically a prequel story. Now, Absolute Carnage one is mostly just deals with Hulk, mostly, and they put the backup story in here for some reason. I don't know why. Because this is mostly Immortal Hulk number 0. It's mostly about the backstory of about David Banner, who was Bruce Banner's father, like basically how he was born. It's interesting though the fact that they included this reprint. They actually include the full reprint in the trade, which I thought was quite interesting. But the story itself is awesome. Bill Manslow is still, in my opinion, one of my favorite classic comic writers. Sadly, I've never met him. Last I heard, he is still alive. He has not done comics since I think last comic he came was back in 1990. I think it was. That's mainly due to an accident he suffered. He's been in a hospital ever since. We also have Day One here, which is awesome. I love the stories in here. It's just an absolute really good trade. And think of this as basically, like I mentioned, a bonus book. Yes, it's referred to as Immortal Hulk Volume 11. Apocrypha, but this mostly just like, it's not exactly an epilogue to the run. It's like all the one-shots that came out during the run that were not published in the main trade series. It's like all those really good one-shots. You're curious though, were they published? This is the trade they haven't published in. Though the Best Defense one-shots, they were collecting Defenders Best Defense, King of Black, Mortal Hulk, and Carnage. I think those were collected in trades like those two. I think the only ones that not collected before is Immortal Hulk number 0, Immortal She-Hulk, which is basically a She-Hulk book for herself, and 10 months. But this is just a really good book. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is a pure classic book that's surprisingly only like almost 20 years old. We have DC, The New Frontier. Yes, this was adapted for a movie, which I have seen it. It is really good. I love that movie. In my opinion, of the movies that are adapted from of those animated movies, that's one of my personal favorites because of how you read this book. Yeah, they make changes to the original story, but they're both really good. Mostly put. Oh, by the way, the writing and artwork is done by the late Darwin Cook, an absolute fantastic artist. I sadly I never met this guy when he was alive. Never. And here, I don't own this per se as a library book per se, but this is one of his greatest stories he ever worked on. Yes, the guy himself is really good. Well, actually, was really good. He never put out a bad book that I saw. Yes, I got into his writing because mostly he did DC stuff. Only in the last 13 years, they've gotten DC. But I love New Frontier. I love the movie. Surprisingly, I did not read the comic book before I saw the movie, but I did read afterwards, and I was shocked how freaking good it is. By the way, in case you're curious, this book is thick, really thick. The original price of this trade is $35. This book is originally published in 2004, plus a one-shot release in 2008. The miniseries itself is mostly 6 issues. The whole point of New Frontier, it is mostly put the bridge between the Silver Age and the Bronze Age, and between Golden and Silver Age of comics. That's mostly what it does, and it takes a lot of inspiration from those Silver Age comics. He even shows here in the back where it takes it from, like some Action Comics books, some old Flash books, which is really good. But this book is just pure classic. I'm not going to spoil too much of this book because this book is so good. 10 out of 10. Find it, read it. It is that damn good. If you're a long-time DC fan, if you're not a fan of the current DC stuff, read this book. It is awesome. Yeah. Like, if you're interested in, oh, by the way, what costumes they wear, they don't really show Batman's in the cover, per se. But in the book, he wears his old 50s costume. Like it's stuff with the Losers, Suicide Squad. Batman didn't show up partway through the book. We also have some black and white stuff in here. I know I'm basically not spoil the story too much, but... Oh, by the way, Batman's introduction to the book is, like the movie, is spot on from the book. Oh, by the way, Wonder Woman here is wearing her Golden Age outfit. So is Superman this outfit is not technically his Golden Age costume. This actually is his cartoon costume. You're thinking, wait, cartoon costume? Nick, what the heck are you talking about? It's a series of shorts released in the 1940s. Shorts that are about 16 minutes long. It's mostly Superman saving Lois from various scientists. And this is basically that costume. I'm not sure why Darwin Cook picked this costume for. Oh, here is the Batman. Oh, I thought it was basically 50s. More like the 40s attire. Actually, more like the original look with the purple gloves. Yeah. I almost kind of forgot about that. But this, just really good stuff here. But just classic stuff here. But I had to show it off here. But most of what everyone else is depicted normally are. Carol and Hal, it is obvious. Now, I gotta admit, basically, think of like the best way to describe this book. What if the Silver Age was done with a modern style writing? That's most of what this book is. Like, if you read these comics, read these characters that were previously published in the Silver Age, you're thinking, people don't talk that way anymore. Or, these people talk funny. But I should point out, though, that is how the comics written back then. Yes, they were weird, but that's how they were written. Nowadays, basically, the writing for some comics is more realistic. Though I have heard some writers have been writing characters to be robotic, but This book in particular is one of Darwin Cook's best books. I would say it's probably his best book he ever did his whole career. The only books I could think of that was really good of his was Batman Ego, Selena's Big Score, his arc he did for Catwoman, the first 4 issues. I believe, he's the one who basically gave this a brief nude image of Catwoman in issue 4, where we briefly saw her rear end for like a panel. And here's the thing though, when they reprint that for new printing trades, they didn't cut that out. Nope, they kept that in because I think some people who make these trades have a lot of respect for Darwin Cook, and I'm sure probably if Darwin Cook ever found out, I think maybe, I'm not sure, let me take a look here, but that, because Darwin Cook passed away, I think it was about 6-7 years ago, I think it was. That was his last name pronounced Cookie. It was about 7 years ago. But let's see, 2016. That first trade of that new printing. Let's see. That came out in 2012, so that was a few years prior to him passing away. So my guess is they probably decided not to alter the trades. Probably due to they didn't want to offend him. That's my personal guess anyways. Yeah, because if you read Selena's Big Score and the first 4 issues of Catwoman, and if you read the original issues, nothing is cut out, nothing has changed, everything is there exactly how it was printed. Because people had a lot of respect for Darwin Cook. Yep. Other books he worked on aside from Catwoman, and of course this book here, he also worked on Batman the Spirit, which is a one-shot. Yes, a one-shot. He did some work for the Spirit, obviously. He did a Batman Black and White. He also did the Trial of the Hero, the Catwoman, which is a Slim Brady issue. He did Just Imagine Standing with Chris Boswell. He did the backup story in the book. He did Ecstatic. He also did the artwork with, he did the writing for Before Watching So Expect You. He wrote that story with Amanda Connor. He did a story for Solo. He did a lot of really good cover work. As far back, let's see, I'm looking at basically what could have been his earliest work. His last book probably was in 2016. Yeah, about 2016. He did work on the covers for the volumes for the Gold and Silver Age books. Yeah, he worked on those. He did the Silver Age, Supergirl Silver Age book, the cover for that one. But I think the earliest cover he worked on was probably Batman Gotham Knights number 12. That was probably the earliest. Actually, no, it was Batman Beyond, volume. He did issue number 4 back in 19. That was the earliest cover he worked on. Yep. He did work on the cover for Batman and Robin 30, probably for Tim Seeley's run. But I do recommend checking out his work. He is that good. Oh, another book he did before Watchmen, he did the Minutemen miniseries, which I read it. It's really good. He did All-Star Western. He did a couple issues on Hex. He did Green Lantern, Sacred Files. He did the main story for that one, 2005. Yeah. From 2002 to 2016. 14 really good years as a writer and artist. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, in case you're curious though, did he work on any series? He worked on I'm looking at here. He was the storyboard artist for 4 episodes of New Batman Adventures as a handful of episodes of Superman series. Oh, and the opening sequence, Batman Beyond, that was all him. He did that. That gorgeous sequence. The sequence is really good. The song is a bit hit or miss. They use Batman Beyond. I do like the story Batman Beyond, but the visuals look amazing. Yep. But yeah, that's it. Particular view. Next up's going to be on my smartphone. Okay, next video. Bye.